Today I'm going to be talking about something we keep seeing in politics. People who stay in politics, people who belong to a particular party for decades, 10 years, 20 years, sometimes even 20 years. And then they help break the party they belong in or the system. And then they contribute to the failure of that party or that government. And then suddenly defect. They defect and act like heroes. Now the big question, should we trust them just because they defected? Before I continue, before I proceed, let's go back to history. Because, this kind of behaviors has been happening for decades, for centuries. It is not new at all. It is not new. Recently in the UK, politicians have been crossing the floor. They've been crossing carpets. In the past, in the 17th century, politicians have also been crossing carpets. So it started from time immemorial, from the 17th century. They switch sides. They switch sides when it suits them. They switch sides often for power, not necessarily principles. Between the 1700s and the 1800s, according to the history I read, the British history, MPs like John Gobham Howe, MPs like Henry John Temple, and many others, they switch sides mostly because of their personal ambitions. Sometimes they switch sides because they didn't get the positions they wanted in government. Let's fast forward it to the modern day, today. Just as it is in Britain, so it is in Nigeria. Who colonized Nigeria? British people, Britain. So are you surprised? Let's move forward. In Nigeria, the defection in politics defection explodes from just 15 cases from 2019, 15 cases from 2019 to about 180 cases in 2025, just last year. And research shows that most of these defection cases are driven by patronage, ambitions, and weak party system, not ideology. In India, also colonized by Britain, defection has repeatedly destabilized its government, including the recent cases we saw in Goa, in India, where lawmakers switched sides and reconfigured the entire state leadership overnight in India. So let's be honest. These sudden moral awakening politicians claim to have, it is rarely new. It is rarely genuine. It is almost never about the people, as in the democracy, quotes and unquote. Now let me speak from the bottom of my heart. If you have actually been in the party for over a decade, you were never a bystander. You were part of the decision. You benefited from the power. You contributed to the failures. So when the same people suddenly begin to jump ship and cry, the party has failed. The party has failed. Then I begin to ask, where was this energy years ago? Where was your voice? Where was this voice? When the bad decisions were being made? So why now? Why now? Why only when your personal interest is being threatened? Defection at the moment of collapse isn't courage at all. Defection at the moment of collapse isn't leadership. It is not patriotism. It is escape or escape, a way to avoid responsibilities. It's a way to reset their career, a way to reset their career and protect their ambition. And most times when I come out to speak, I just have pity on the Generation Z, the one we call the Gen Z, because they're the ones who are really, really being deceived on all of these. Are the ones doing the protests, are the ones saying, migrant, Gen Z. And I'm very particular about them, and that's why I speak out, to let them know that there's nothing new under the sun. Now, young people watching here, let me tell you the fact. Let me tell you the real truth. Politicians have been switching sides for centuries. And it always follows the same pattern. The way it's been and now, the same pattern. They move when it is to their advantage. Not because it benefits you, not when it benefits you. Not to your advantage. Not to the country's advantage. Not to the country's advantage, not to the benefit, not when it benefits the country. Real leaders, they stay and fight. They push for reform, not reform party. They push for reform of their party, not defect to reform party. They confront the system because they helped build the system. They don't chicken out because things have become tough. Should we trust people simply because they defected? Should we trust people simply because they defected to a party whose name is Reform Party? No, absolutely not. Trust, they say, isn't earned by colors. Trust, they say, isn't earned by changing colors. Yeah, trust isn't earned by changing colors, but by consistency. Trust is earned by accountability, courage, integrity, not convenience. If you helped create the mess, you've got to help fix it. You don't run away from it. You don't run away from it. You've got to help fix it. And definitely, you don't get to deceive the world that you are the solution to the mess you created. Thank you very much.